You're already recording. You're live. Swearing at me. You're a bad
Oh
man.
my god, okay, brilliant. And welcome to our Twitch stream, everybody. I am, of course, Brick Hardcastle, and this is the second episode of my CyberPunk game. Now, last week, our intrepid heroes won Jim Cauldwell, a disgraced British lord who had been wrongfully framed for international terrorism and paedophile ring association by the wicked William Barnstable. He had escaped and had made his way to a ferry leading to Japan. On that same ferry were Dong Hyun, a North Korean exile who had fled the country during the Chinese invasion and now come to Japan seeking his fortune and somewhere safer. And Huan Gui, a martial artist from China, who happens to be very white-skinned, oddly enough, because he was adopted by his master, Huan Fei, who taught him in the ways of Wing Chun before passing away, leaving Huan Gui with the message to come to the Kimono Dojo in Tokyo to find a student to learn the ways of his martial art. Now, these three came together aboard this ferry. At this point, Darius, could you show me some of the beautiful illustrations one of our fans did?
Oh, can I see these?
No, I don't know where the links are. Have you still got the links, mate?
Right, okay. Right. Here is a beautiful, beautiful rendition of the PCs. Going left to right. There's Dong Hyun with his rocket leg, Gentleman Jim with his top hat, even though it's actually a bowler hat, and Huan Gui, who's really looking shirtless and buff, even though his strength is a pathetic D4.
Hey, Brett, where are we seeing these?
Where are you seeing these? On the link I just gave you.
Who did this?
This was done by Lagu the Brown. One of our millions and millions of fans.
Oh, there's dozens of them.
Look at
dozens and dozens of millions. And here, in this next picture, you can see Gentleman Jim, and on the right, there's a bunch of crap he bought himself to disguise himself. And also, I'll show you some other illustrations momentarily. Also, in the last game, the three of you were accosted at various points by a triad member called Hang Sung and his bully boys, so to speak, and they attempted to get Dong Hyun.
Don Hyun is fine. That's just a first name.
Don Hyun to buy some dodgy cyberware. They tried to intimidate Huan Gui, who simply said, "Look behind you!" and ran away.
Who masterfully escaped.
Yes. And they intimidated Jim Cauldwell a bit. Well, they tried to, but he was not to be intimidated. The three of you struck up a fast acquaintanceship, having mutual interests to travel together and stay safe in your various goals. Gentleman Jim, after departing the boat, you were accosted by some holograms trying to sell you some mineral water. Here is a artist's rendition of what happened. Darius, if you could show that there.
Yep, we're on it.
Yes, this here is Zinc's character, Don Hyun, deciding to kind of like zip right through one of the holograms just to be a troll. You see that face on the bottom right? I picture that's exactly the face he made. Also on the boat, Huan Gui tried to be a massive white knight and sort of save the first woman he saw from surely the dangers that must be befalling her. And this is sort of more or less what happens.
Look at you, belittling him for trying to be a good guy.
We got that up on screen, Dalrius?
We certainly do.
There you go. But I just
You look
wanted to
troubled.
help.
You look troubled, and I'm good at solving the problems of the poor.
That's not arrogant at all.
The tact.
Hey,
Anyway.
but I was just trying to help.
So after they departed the boat, they made their way to the embassy where Jim Wells was waiting, or not waiting, was by to see his friends who'd been accused of international terrorism and pedophilia. Had just basically walked right up to his doorstep. They had a brief chat where Rufus Rainwright, Jim's old friend from Cambridge, he agreed to look into the matter of Jim being framed and did him to a contact of his, One Baines in Neo Tokyo. After that, the party went to the Kimono Dojo, where Huan Gui found his sensei's old friend, Kimono Yusaku, owner of the dojo, and that he agreed to let the party stay there for as long as they need it, on the grounds that they helped out when they can. And he allowed Huan Gui to search for a student amongst his ranks. Oh, and also the video cut off right at the end where Dalrius was thrillingly buying some contact lenses and pulse-poundingly buying some woolly gloves. Basically all for the purpose of disguising himself.
Don't forget the hair dye. It was dynamic hair dye.
Oh, yes. Dynamically dyed his hair. And basically, yes, he now looks a lot different, and he will relate to you about that shortly. What he didn't know about the contacts, however, was that now he's occasionally Google advertisements in the corner of his eye. But that's the price you pay for anonymity. And we begin with the party having just spent the night at the Kimono Dojo. And yeah, basically you wake up, the sun is streaming through the paper windows, and it's your first new day in Japan. What do you wish to do?
Are we all in the same room? Are we in separate rooms?
Yeah, you're all packed into the supply room. There's 3 kind of mats on the floor, a bunch of supplies kind of muddled up against the walls.
As the light shines through, you hear the mutterings of Donkyun, of something along the lines of as follows. Supreme Leader, I failed you. In Korean. That's it.
Interestingly. So, Gentleman Jim are completely baffled by this, but you hear this, Huan Gui.
I don't understand Korean yet.
No, you don't, do you?
No, but
That's
the
right.
fact he's talking Korean will be alright after a week.
However, you feel like you're picking something up from it, though, bizarrely.
Okay.
Anyway, everyone else, what do you choose to do?
Well, Gentleman Jim
So-
will get up. He will put on a set of robes from the dojo supplies and put on his bowler hat and have a shave. Shave off all his facial hair.
Do you tie it at the front or at the back?
What, the robe?
This is deathly important.
just tell me. Just tell me.
Like a dressing gown or at the back.
Your kimono. What, do you tie it in front or back?
Well, who said it was a kimono? He said robe.
I thought it was just like a
Oh.
robe thing.
Monk robe, yeah.
It would probably be for a kimono or a yukata. Either way, which way do you tie it? Front or back?
Gentleman Jim, and I suppose this is wrong, but he'd probably tie it at the front.
Right. Okay, everyone blushes at you because you're basically tying it like a prostitute. So basically, I believe, yukatas be tied at the front by prostitutes, so basically it'd be easy access for corrupt magistrates and samurais who would want to have their way with them.
Good to know.
Trivia. A little bit of trivia for you there.
Would
Anyway.
this be something I am aware of, being a person of the people?
Person of the Chinese people.
Out of the people, yeah, sure, why not?
Then I don't say anything.
Alright, okay. I assume the rest of you tie your robes up, and... Right, what else do you do?
I think at this point I'm going to wake up.
Okay.
So the first thing I would do is wake up, and I'd be saying good morning to everybody after stretching.
Yes, good
I'll
morning.
reach in. It wasn't anything you had to reply to. It's just one of them mornings, right? And then I reach into my bag, and then I'll pull out some food and eat some of my trail mix. Don't want to eat a full portion because that's gonna last me the day.
Alright, you nibble on your trail mix. The sound of crunching is echoing through the halls.
The crunching wakes me up, and I will wake up. Put on my jacket and start to examine the tools I have been carrying with me. Just ensuring they're all clean.
So,
They're a little bit dirty, but you
I
can
just-
polish them at some point.
Yes, I have soap, so I can do that.
No, you don't. You gave it to Gentleman Jim.
No, I gave him 1 bar of soap.
Oh, you've got more than 1 bar. There we go. Very clever.
Gentleman Jim, may I ask you what you are doing?
What
What do you
language do you
mean?
speak this in?
I was having a shave.
Japanese.
Probably English.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'd said it in Japanese because I want them both to understand me if I can. So, yeah.
All right.
In that case, shave, shave.
What about the hair dye?
Well, thinking about it, there's going to be a lot of trouble following me around, so I thought perhaps it may be better to look like somebody else.
Just one last thing. What about the robes? I don't believe you asked to use them.
Oh, that'll be absolutely fine. I mean, I'm sure I'll find someone I can offer them a contribution.
Oh, then I'm sure that the master of the dojo will be quite happy. He has said that he is struggling and is wishing to raise funds for the dojo if you could offer any support yourself.
Oh, of course, I'll make a contribution to it. Put me up for the night. I'll go have a word with him.
Fantastic.
All right.
Where,
Go
Master?
off
Master where?
I'll giggle and say to Dong, fear not. Yes, Jim is paying for our stay here.
Ah, he pay. Cool.
He pay.
He cool. Cool. Super cool.
I point to your bag of tools and ask, what have you got there?
Tool.
Excuse me?
Tool.
Me?
No, I have tool.
Oh, I see. I guess that's for your leg then, yes?
Ah, yes. Yeah. It's for leg. And for other things.
I see. So you must be somewhat of a builder.
I am science.
You are science, I see.
Science man.
Science man.
He continues to speak to you in garbled Japanese.
I pull up the trouser leg of my cybernetic leg and show him. This robot I make. I also make this, and he pulls out his scooter.
I'd like to inspect his leg somewhat, based on what medical stuff I know.
All right. You know a great deal about traditional medicines and remedies, and some basic first aid. However, you know nothing about cybernetics, so you can glean very little from looking at the leg. Suffice to say that it doesn't look quite right to you. Just basically, it's like there's sort of some sort of a fuel pack, a propulsion pack, just kind of clamped onto the side of it. It just looks quite hideous, really, to your eyes, from having seen it time.
Okay.
This state of art.
I point to it and ask, painful?
No. Well, no more.
No more?
Used to be painful, but then robot leg. Now no painful.
What happened?
China. Boom, boom. City. Where work.
Oh, I see. It blew up when you were. Your work blew up when you were working in China.
No. I know work China. China come to my work. Blow up. Shitty.
Oh my goodness.
I move to Korea. Bad Korea.
Bad career.
Bad Korea.
I see. This is why you want somewhere new and are hoping for somewhere safe.
Well, bad Korea no like me. Because they jealous of good Korea.
What do you mean by good and bad career?
Good, bad. When he says good, he points up. When he says bad, he points down.
So, okay. I see. Good and bad then. My character doesn't truly understand what you mean.
Dong Hyun mutters some malevolent curse words under his breath.
Right. You hear some nasty things in Korean, but you're not quite sure what they mean.
I ask, what does that mean?
It mean you bright man.
So you, with my linguist, can I see if I believe him or not?
Can you see if you believe it or not?
Apparently I'm good at picking up the sort of things.
Yes, you can. Well, you can, but again, you have to spend about a week with him before you could really kind of, glean stuff from his language. But from the tone he's saying it sounds quite harsh, so it seems quite strange that he would, saying that as a compliment.
Well, I'll say thank you anyway.
At this point, Gentleman Jim's still out of the room, correct?
Yeah,
Correct.
Gentleman Jim, had you gone to find the master of the dojo?
Indeed, I did.
All right. You look around the halls for a bit. It's mostly empty right now. Just people who live at the dojo. Basically, the master, his family, and a few dedicated students. You find him easily enough in the dining room, sort of sitting with his legs under the tatami mat. He's sipping some miso soup. Ah, yes, Jim Cauldwell, sir. He sort of bows slightly to you. One of our honoured guests.
Jim Cauldwell returns the bow. Thank you much for letting us sleep in this place. Thank you much. That's another bow.
You are quite welcome. I am glad to extend my hospitality to friends of my master's student. Or, well, my old friend's student, I should say.
Jim
It was
grins.
a long time since I learned from him.
Jim grins and nods and takes out his remaining credits and looks at them a bit woefully. There appears to be about 20 credits remaining.
And kind of looks at you oddly as you take out your credit chit.
And Jim then puts it back, takes off his watch, and offers the watch, and says, "I wish I could offer more, but not many."
Oh, please, no, that is not necessary. I am letting you stay out of kindness and for what help you can. I will not seize on someone having difficulties.
Jim nods to him. In that case, take as deposit for when I paid my way.
He just sort of looks at you.
Jim smiles
Please.
and says, "Please."
I will keep it safe for you, but I am not some kind of loan shark, understand? He takes it. I will give this back to you, don't worry.
Jim nods and kindly and starts to walk away, smiling quite happily.
Alright. Hours to you as you leave and goes back to sipping his miso soup.
I like the way no one's mentioned about the way I've tied my rope.
You do get a few odd looks as you shuffle down the corridors, but they're way too polite to say anything.
Jim just
Plus you're
smiles and
white,
nods
I mean, you're
happily.
expecting odd looks.
Tips his
Yeah.
hat.
Maybe some of them are just taking
you
note
hear
for
a
later.
few murmurs of Baka and Gaijin, and but nothing out of the ordinary.
None of the Barkers are followed by blushing, are they?
No.
Any propositions?
Mostly men.
Yeah, Jim heads back to
Hey.
the storeroom where the others are.
Ah, you back! At this point, Dong Hyun pulls out a whistle from one of his many pockets and blows on it loudly. We go now!
Dong, you don't need to blow your whistle.
What
Stop
language? Are you speaking in Japanese now?
I was speaking Japanese, yes.
I was. Oh, right, good, because I was.
Established, we're speaking Japanese.
If Jim and Dong are speaking in a kind of broken way, I'll assume it's Japanese. If it's
Yeah.
it's either Korean or English.
Yes,
And
Okay.
Lord, you just have to assume is talking the language of everyone else.
Yeah.
All languages at once and translating.
Yeah. Exactly.
Cool. Wait, Dong. I must speak to the master of the dojo and ask him if we can help in any manner before we go.
Fine, insolent bastard. You don't understand what he just said.
I look at him funny and then say, "Excuse me. Oh, Jim, did you manage to? Well, did you offer the master any money?"
Yes, he's a kindly gentleman. Unfortunately, old chap, I seem to be a bit short on funds at the moment, but I gave the man my watch, but he seemed reluctant to accept it. I said to keep it as a deposit, though. I'm sure we'll be able to pay our way.
I look at Jim, a bit funny. A bit short on cash, you say?
Yes, it seems that Barnstable has frozen my assets.
I see. I then say, okay then, excuse me whilst I go speak to the master. And then I walk off to speak to the master.
Alright. You find Yusaku. He's just finished off his miso soup. And he's talking with one of his students. Ah, Huan Gui. It's good to see you. I trust you had a comfortable sleep.
I bow and say, good morning. Yes, it was indeed. I can tell you I've slept on the streets and I have slept in most comfortable beds. However, nothing beats a mat.
I quite agree. It is good to be close to the earth.
Would you introduce me to your student here?
He just introduces you. The young man looks to be about 20. He bows. My name is... He kind of speaks to you in broken English. He's trying. Name is Ran Takano. Nice to meet you. He bows.
I bow and say in Japanese, it is a pleasure to meet you too.
Oh, you speak Japanese. Good to hear. I'm sorry, my English isn't so good.
How long have you been a student here?
I've been a student here ever since I was 16. Master Yusaku, he's been very helpful in training my mind and my soul. I was tempted to get in with some of the bands at Neo Tokyo, but Master helped put me on the right path.
I look to the master and say, yes, indeed. You do not wish to be going the ways of the gangsters, roughing up innocent people. You should be looking to help them out.
The Kimano looks up at you. Yes, there are many bad influences in Neo Tokyo. There are many corruptions and perversions of the mind and the body and the soul. Many opportunities to make great amounts of money with very little work. Certainly very tempting to young men. I do the best I can to steer people on the right path, but it is a battle I am losing every day, as you can see from the dire financial straits of the dojo.
Ah, I see. I'm here. Speaking of bad news, Master, is there anything I can aid you with? And thank you for letting us stay here.
Today there is nothing I need help with. If you could simply acclimate yourself to Tokyo, get used to your surroundings today, that would be quite fine. Once you have made yourself at home, I will see what jobs I can find for you. I do not know the skills of you and your companions very well yet.
I bow and say, as you wish. Thank you for your time, Master. allow me to return to my companions, and we shall head into town.
He nods and
Okay.
bows.
I bow to the student and then walk off.
Okay, right. You head back to the others.
What are they both up to?
Good question. In the period of time that Bod was gone, Huan was gone, would me or Jim have struck conversation with one another?
Up to
Jim
you
might
guys.
have asked you about your leg.
I'd have responded in a similar manner as I had to Huan Gui. I science man, I make.
Oh, well. Very good.
Thank you. Fucking idiot.
Dong Hyun's bitterness grows as Huan Gui re-enters the room.
What a strange little man, Jim says under his breath and shakes his head as he smiles at Huang entering the room.
At the point of Huan Gui re-entering the room, I pull out my whistle and blow it hard again.
Don't!
We need to go! We need credit!
You will wake up the entire dojo. Fine, we're ready to go. A sigh.
We go see Barry Hines. Now?
Yeah, we go see White Guy. We go see White Guy.
What are we visiting him for?
He's a chap who can get things done. Apparently he might be able to help me decipher where this email came from, its origins, and maybe start tracking down who ruined my name. I know it was Barnstable, but I need proof.
If he in Neo Tokyo, we can make credit. We need money. He poor, we poor, I poor, everyone poor.
Yes. I am indeed poor. We could also use some money for the dojo. We could use some credits. And yes, I assume that is what you are visiting your friend here for then, Gentleman Jim.
Yes, this is English now. He's given up to it speaking Japanese. Yes, well, perhaps we could, if this man is a man who can fix things, it might be in his interest to unlock my assets, and then I'll have some funds available to me. Let's go see him. Turns to Doyle. Go see Barry Hines, now!
I bow and say, lead the way.
Go outside and look for a taxi.
Alright, yep. It takes you probably about 5-10 minutes, but you find a taxi rank. I won't make you roleplay just the whole experience.
But before we get in, Jim leans in. How much to... Where's Barry Hines live again?
The Bradbury district of Neo Tokyo, or East Tokyo as it's officially called.
Good sir. Bradbury. Price?
He taps into his computer. His kind of eyes go wide a little as he looks at the computer. 20 credits.
Turns to Juan and Dong. Can go, but no money. After.
That's fine. We made money there.
I say, I have no money now.
Okay, get in.
Okay, I sure can get in.
Okay. Taxi driver seemed a little bit nervous, but he starts driving. He gets progressively more nervous as you start, winding through the streets of Tokyo towards Neo Tokyo. at this point, Bod, would you like to have a little interlude where you tell a story from your past and possibly gain some in-game rewards? Aha!
Ooh, yes, please.
All right. At this point, one of the other characters may initiate interlude and join in by kind of helping Huan Gui draw out his story, or he might just be a dick and kind of bring it up himself. It is up to you guys.
Go on then, I don't want to be a dick.
How long have we been driving?
I mean, it's a drive from the outskirts of Western Tokyo to Neo Tokyo, so it's probably going to be like an hour and a half drive.
Jim
Juan. Sorry, you go ahead. You go for it.
Alright, so Jim turns to Juan. So, Juan, you seem, I don't know how to bring this up, but, how has, your name, is it your given name? Is it, or did you adopt that name? I see you don't look like a native.
I have a father who was Chinese. He adopted me.
Ah, I see.
In fact, indeed, yes. It was him that was the one that taught me martial arts. His name was Huang Fei. I also have a brother by the name of Huan Dai. I can remember a time Father asked me to go with him to a martial arts meetup to display what he had taught me. I was to also see other martial arts and to see if I could adopt them into my own form.
So it was like when we see the displays, like chopping pieces of wood in half with your bare hands, that sort of thing.
I suppose you could compare it to that. It would be more along the lines of martial arts masters and one of their students going to imagine a giant house, and within that they would show each other's martial arts, have each other's students train on one another, so then they can show their own techniques as well as develop versus others.
I see, so this is sort of serious sort of soiree.
Well, yes, I told my brother Huan Dai I was to go with Father, as I would naturally excited. I knew that I would prove our father's kung fu is effective. Dai harassed me though, constantly trying to start fights and taunt me because I'm not Fei's real son. He thought that I had no right to go over him. He complained to Father, to the point Father agreed that if he sparred with me, he was to spar with me, and the winner would go with him to the martial arts meetup. Excuse me. I naturally passed, but yes, of course he took Dai because of it. My brother treated it as if it was nothing, as if it was just a holiday, but he wouldn't arrive to the meets, or he'd just arrive late, messing around, treating it as if it was nothing. I know if I went, that I would have treated it right, and as I said, I'd have shown Fei's martial arts were righteous.
Your brother, what was he any good? Could he do the whole kick and death chop?
The death chop. He could indeed. He did well. He did not have the right mindset for it, though. He thought it was about the fight instead of avoiding the fight.
But did he win?
He didn't. He did not undergo any of the trials. He did not mingle with any of the other students. He didn't enter in any of the fights. Could he have won? Perhaps. But he never applied himself. I never held it against him, though, that I didn't get to go. I feel as if I let my father down not being there to show the true power of his martial art form. My father told me, though, to treat it as if it was another lesson. Backing down isn't always the best path. Trust in what you believe.
Well, sounds like you're a handyman to have around in a tussle. Nods to Juan. Glad to be here with you, my friend.
Cool.
All right. Is that the end of the story?
That is.
Right. So, in summary, yes, Huan Dai, not as dedicated as his adopted brother, and always jealous and spiteful. Right. For that, you get the following. You get a card that you may use one time and timely, and then it will burn forever. It is called Perseverant, and it will give you a +2 to recover from being shot when you spend it. Note that down and use it well.
Thank you, please.
All right. Now, taxi goes further and further past the glittering lights and the gaudy advertising of Akihabara. Goes past the towering shopping malls, the tacky anime statues, and other attractions in Odaiba. It starts heading out into East Tokyo. There's a sort of a slightly suburban buffer zone, but Neo Tokyo looms in the distance. You arrive at what looks to be like a military-style checkpoint. It seems like people going out, they're being patted down, they're being searched. The people going in just seem to be waved through. It looks like you see many other checkpoints in the distance. It looks like the area around Neo Tokyo appears to have many checkpoints, almost as if you would surmise that people coming out of Neo Tokyo are probably suspect. It's when you get into Neo Tokyo, though, that you realize exactly why people are so cautious. Here we go. Music. Music. There we go.
I like the people drinking tea.
Okay, as you enter Neo Tokyo for the first time, you're struck by the absence of sun. Huge utilitarian box-like skyscrapers loom over you. A smog blots out the sky, belching out from the industrial district, packed densely together with the towering tenement blocks, as if the population didn't matter, as if nobody even cared. A maze of walkways connect the huge skyscrapers above, coating the streets in a shadow of darkness, putting them in an almost permanent twilight. As you look out the window, you see pairs of deep, desperate, empty eyes staring mournfully back at you. A group of kids, no more than 10 or 12, are fighting viciously at each other, pulling at a desiccated cybernetic arm with wires hanging out, like a group of angry dogs pulling at a piece of meat. Criminals roam the streets confidently like kings with their heads held high. The people, a rainbow mix of different ethnicities and cultures, all have their heads bowed in fear and submission, as if there was no hope. If hell was augmented, it would definitely be Neo Tokyo. The streets are kind of bathed in this sort of orangey, hazy glow, because since the sunlight is so blocked out, many of the walkways above have just these flickering lights, many of them in states of disrepair, just kind of casting light on the streets below. It's just so unpleasantly stultifying and hot in just this tightly crowded urban environment. You see sort of people, streets everywhere. there are sort of these fans that kind of, sort of sticking out from the buildings that sort of emit cooling air onto the streets, but many of them are rusted and in disrepair. Basically, it's this mechanical nightmare. As you drive through the streets towards the Bradbury wards, you notice quite a lot more white-skinned people. A lot of people, Gentleman Jim, who look a bit more familiar to you. Dong Hyun, you have never seen so many people cybernetically augmented before. There are people with infrared eyes, visors. There are people with cybernetic arms, cybernetic legs. You know, people with sort of cybernetic guns and swords kind of coming out their arms. They just sort of display them proudly, just like peacocks, trying to ward off any potential attackers. This is a very dangerous, unpleasant place to be. As you approach the address you've been given in the Bradbury ward, you see a big sign looming over this sort of like out of the way little shop. It says in both English and Japanese, Barry's Repair Shop. And yeah, it looks like an unassuming little place. And the taxi driver says, "Here's the address."
I bow, say thank you. Well, whilst sat in the car, and then climb out quickly.
All right. You get out of the taxi. Just the lack of air conditioning really kind of puts into perspective just how hot and stultifying it is in Neo Tokyo.
Oh, I'm going to need to get shorts.
Jim nods to the driver. "I'm appreciate. Here," and pays the man. "Sorry, tip no. Good man deserve no more. Money?"
The taxi driver just scans your chip wordlessly and says, "Thank you very much." And he drives away. He doesn't seem so much bothered by the fact you haven't given him a tip. He just seems to want to get out of there as fast as possible.
Well then, let's go say hello to Barry. And I'll
no.
Okay. You walk inside the shop, so you hear a little jingle of a wind chime as you go inside. Inside, you see rows and rows, shelves full of second-hand technology. You see sort of various posters on the wall giving quotes for various repair jobs. You see a sort of a scruffy-looking man with a sort of a one red infrared eye. He's sort of like cleaning the counter. He looks at Gentleman Jim, says, "Hello, what can I help you with?"
I'm going to follow in at this point.
You're going to what at this point?
Follow in.
Okay, you follow in. I imagine everyone follows in. Unless said
might you,
otherwise.
sir, be Barry, the proprietor here?
Barry? No, I'm not Barry. Name's Desmond. I run the shop. Barry's the owner. I mean, he does some of the work himself, but he's something of an entrepreneur, shall we say.
Ah, yes, jolly good.
I take care of the nitty-gritty.
Good man, good man. Yes,
He just kind of looks at you.
Yes, we need to see Barry. A friend of mine have sent me here. Is Jim looks around? Is he available at the moment?
What's the name of this friend who sent you?
Rufus, my good man.
Rufus. Rufus who?
Oh, I'm sure Barry knows Rufus who.
You're a clever little fellow, aren't you? All right, you just wait here.
Good man, Desmond. Thank you.
At this point, two men kind of walk out of the door after Desmond walks back. One of them's a very large black gentleman, and the other one is a very large white gentleman with blonde spiky hair. They're both wearing sunglasses and overcoats, and sort of from the look of their overcoats, it looks like there might be something concealed beneath them.
Jim nods to him and tips his hat.
Can I look around the shop?
Absolutely. What are you looking for? Anything in particular?
I'm just looking at what there is.
All right. Basically, you find all sorts of vintage technology. It's just absolutely fascinating to look at for someone like yourself. You see kind of old bits of vintage cyberware, kind of first generation, second generation, third generation, some kind of really rare, hard to find stuff, sort of limited edition in the Philippines and then kind of banned for being unsafe, but it's been kind of custom modded to
like
be okay.
Sony Walkmans, all that sort of stuff.
You find stuff like that as well, just like all kinds of cool shit.
Well,
This
upon seeing anything branded, I'm going to look at it and just be a bit disgusted. Filthy knockoffs. Ugh.
Oh, there's knockoffs, there's branded stuff, and then there's some custom-made stuff as well.
No, I mean the authentic stuff.
Oh, okay.
The authentic stuff. I'm from Korea. I haven't seen the outside world. We've been making that stuff ourselves.
Oh yeah,
within
that's
the country.
Right. Yes, North Korea created it all. Everyone else just ripped it off, of course. Okay, right. After a while, Desmond comes back.
Wait.
Yep, go on.
Before they come back in, can I walk up to the two big men and ask them a question?
Go ahead.
I'd like to walk up to them and smile, and in a persuasion, if it works, sorry, I'm supposed to try it, and then you say, yeah. I'd like to smile at them and try to get to know them a bit better, and say, hello, gentlemen. How do you feel about the local tea?
They tilt their heads and look at you as if you're completely insane, and they just ignore you.
When they don't say anything, I say it in, that was in English, I imagine, because they don't look Japanese. I'll say in Japanese next. Excuse me. Yes, I'm asking about how you feel about the local tea.
Listen, mate, we're not here to make fucking small talk, says the guy with the spiky blonde hair. Just wait until Desmond comes back, all right? And don't try anything funny.
I'll say, sorry then, Spike. Excuse me.
Spike, fuck off, mate, before I do you, all right? He kind of puts his hand against his overcoat, tapping something beneath it.
What have you got there?
Well, why don't you take a fucking guess, mate? Why don't you take a fucking guess?
Juan!
Since you seem to be so bloody clever.
Juan!
Yes, Jim?
I suggest you leave those fine gentlemen alone. They're trying to do a job there.
I'll bow to them and say, yes, okay. Sorry to have bothered you, sirs.
As long as you don't try anything stupid with Barry, we won't have a problem, alright? Got my eye on you, lads.
All right.
He just kind of looks at you scornfully and goes back to kind of eyeing around the room. Finally, Desmond comes back from the back room and he approaches you. All right, lads. Barry will see you now. Follow me.
Jim follows.
You follow him? All right.
I ask the spiky-haired gentleman, can I go too?
Desmond cuts you off before you talk to the spiky-haired gentleman. Yeah, he says you're all invited, as a matter of fact.
Donkian is still enamored with the technology on the walls.
Oi, you, Mega Man. Come on, boss wants to see you too.
Still English.
Hang on, chaps. Dong, now whistle. No, not whistle. Now, go,
Whistle!
Barry.
Whistle!
No, Don.
Oh, sorry, gentlemen. The chap doesn't speak a
all
word of
the
English.
men sort of grab their ears as Dong plays his whistle, and they twist up their expressions. Desmond just looks at you. Look, are you here to play the bloody flute, or are you here to do some business?
I'll translate that for you, sir. Dong, let's go. See Barry Hines.
We go, cool.
There,
Okay.
there we go, old chap.
Right. All right. The three of you walk up some stairs, several flights of stairs. After a little while, open up a door into an office, a very large office. All around the walls, there are clocks. There's, sort of every kind of clock you can imagine. There are sort of old ticking grand clocks.
Sundials?
There are sundials.
Are they working?
Shut up, Zinc. There are a couple sundials. There are. Hang on a minute. There are. There are wall-mounted wooden clocks. There are
Water clocks?
over the place. There are water clocks. Yes. There are some cool-looking 80s digital clocks, and there are sort of much more modern timepieces as well.
Are they calculator watches?
Well, would you like a slap? That's the question I'd like to ask you. Yeah, there are plenty. There is every kind of clock you can imagine. It looks like whoever is here is definitely a great clock otaku, so to speak. On the other side of the room, you notice a gentleman in a white shirt rolled up to his sleeves. He's got sort of dark slacks. He's got short dark hair, and he appears to have a rather sizable-looking pistol strapped to his chest. He turns around to look at you as a kind of a handsome-looking man. Has a sort of a cunning grin on his face. Just every moment you're in this office, just the constant metronome of ticking clocks, it almost sort of drives you a little bit mad, but after a little while you start getting used to it. At this point, the man speaks up. Greetings, gentlemen. My name is Barry Haynes. Good to meet your acquaintance. You, I believe, are Jim Cauldwell. No need for introductions. I have my people. I know some things. And you are Huan Gui. I believe some kind of adopted martial artist from China. You? Well, I had to do a little bit of dicking about you. All I know is that you appear to be some sort of illegal immigrant from North Korea. Oh, wait. You don't understand a word I'm saying, do you? Never mind. I'm sure your little friend here will translate, in being so proficient with languages. So...
You mean Gentleman Jim?
No, I mean you, my boy.
Oh, I see.
The fact you're talking to me, despite being from Chinese, displays your proficiency in English. Quite impressive.
I bow and say thank you.
You're quite welcome. Anyway, my old friend Rufus Wainwright, up at the consulate, says you are in a bit of a spot of bother there, Jim.
Well,
you might need a bit of help.
One could say that, old sir. One could say that. Now, we may be in a position to offer you a little bit of business there, sir. One profitable to both of us.
Yes. Business is certainly what I'm interested in. However, before we engage in business, I have to know what kind of businessman you are. Tell me, What is the most important resource in the world? Anyone? He looks at you expectantly.
Wisdom.
What did he say?
Oh, do you translate this to?
I haven't
Yes.
been hearing shit. I've been oh.
I poke you to get your attention, and then I translate what he said.
Oh.
What's the most important resource?
Reputation.
Okay.
Right. I translate that back.
All right.
What?
Okay. What do you think, Gentleman Jim?
Stiff upper lip, old boy. Carry on regardless. Make sure the job's done.
Perseverance, in a word, right? Right. Well,
take it as you will.
Why, guy?
It
Why
is
not
the
tell me
stiff upper
call?
lip, sir.
disappointingly, you're all wrong. The most important resource in the world, the only non-renewable resource, is time. Many men spend their whole lives thinking money is the most important resource, or power, or influence. But as the clock ticks down to the end of their lives, they find themselves unfulfilled, angry, bitter at the world. I, however, focus entirely on measuring time and how best to spend it, because it's the only thing you can't get back. And this relates to the business I have for you, gentlemen. Are you gentlemen familiar with Benetti Tech?
Not a clue, old
I
me.
look to the other
Question: would I be possibly familiar with this?
Well, again, how familiar are you with corporations in the capitalist world? Not very. No.
Given I have spent, some time in the south, I would have
And
heard depending on how big this is.
If you worked at a lab in like North Korea, I mean, you might have knowledge of foreign suppliers.
Yeah, I mean, like it depends on its what sort of corporation it is and whether I've heard of it in my time on trying to get work in the south.
Okay, everyone make me a smarts roll, and just a generic smarts roll. Donghyun can have it at +1. The others, no modifier, unless you can argue irrelevant knowledge or anything like that.
I didn't think I'd understand it anyway, if I'm honest, so that's
Wild
good.
eye, bud.
Oh. With a trait roll, I thought it was just a skill.
Get the wild die with everything unless stated otherwise. I didn't add ones on the wild, but yeah.
Huan Gui, you're drawing a blank right now, basically, completely.
I shrugged to the others.
Gentleman Jim, you're sort of vaguely familiar with Benetti Tech. It's an international conglomerate that basically it's an umbrella company for all sorts of smaller companies that sort of run everything from cybernetics to fashion goods to housing, all the way down to mineral water. In fact, as you remember yesterday, the Hollands were trying to accost you to buy Suntory, which is now a Benetti Tech owned brand. So yeah, I mean, the name rings a bell. They try to lobby Parliament quite a lot. They've got quite a lot of sway. But other than that, you don't know a lot about them. Okay. Now, Donghyun. You know that Bonetti Tech are one of the world's leading providers of cybernetics, and they basically have their hands in a lot of pies. They'll pretty much supply to everyone, even if they're sort of considered enemies, quote, of the West, and of course that includes your country, North Korea. Anyway,
Okay.
so familiar? Ring any bells?
Yeah, big corporate chaps there. Lot involved in lots of different things.
Hands in many pockets, right?
They make robot limb.
I mean, Gentleman Jim nods to you, seeming to understand Japanese.
Enough. Yes, my friend says they maybe have a lot to do in cybernetics.
Your friend makes a very shrewd observation. And don't worry, you can speak to me. I'm quite fluent in Japanese. He just repeats that to Don.
Huh.
Anyway, have you heard of Bonetti Tech's Urban Redevelopment Fund?
The
Basically,
hologram said that there was a hologram that said that every bottle of water we purchase goes towards this.
Bod, you get a free Benny.
Yay!
For remembering that. Thank you.
I said that in character, by the way.
Yeah, you now have 4 bennies to spend.
Yay!
Ah, yes. So, you're familiar. Well, as you can imagine, nothing Bonetti Tech does is entirely motivated by charity. In this case, it's basically a PR scam. Well, actually, that's underselling it. It's significantly worse than a PR scam. Are you aware that there are, how shall we say, Chinese triads who've made a big presence in Neo Tokyo?
Oh yeah, they try and get my leg.
Yes. Try and get your leg. I'm not particularly surprised. You're lucky you still have it.
Chinese
Now-
triads, you say?
Yes, Chinese triads. I felt I'd better specify that for you, just in case any of you aren't familiar. I know Jim certainly doesn't have a lot of experience, old boy.
Well, I've had the odd visit. No, the basic lay
Now,
of the land.
Jim, those accusations against you weren't meant to be false, weren't they? You wouldn't know anything about national conspiracies, would you?
My friend, I'm involved in a national conspiracy. I could believe anything.
I see. Well, let me tell you a bit more. See, many of the triads who are either extorting people or stealing their cyberware, secretly, they're selling them back to Bonetti Tech. And this leads me to the Urban Redevelopment Fund. The Urban Redevelopment Fund is a scam. What they do is they find poor disadvantaged people, fit them with cyberware for free to give them what they say, to bring them up to speed with the rest of the population, to increase their productivity. You see, what they're really doing is they're selling them something for free, but they don't read the small print. The fact is, the cyberware they're sold has built-in obsolescence, so it requires constant maintenance of Bonetti Tech facilities and requires constant replacement of power packs, components, that sorts of things. Basically, enslaving the poor to them, making them dependent on them, mind, body, and soul. They're worse than drug dealers. These people are. This is legalized slavery, and no one's doing anything about it. Go on.
We must bring this to the attention of the people. We cannot allow this to happen.
My dear boy, if only it were that simple. Cybernetic Tech have their hooks well within the government, well within the organised crime in the area. Going against Cybernetic Tech is not something one can try and do lightly. And this is why it's so convenient the three of you have fallen into my lap.
What does this have to do with time? Your clock.
Getting to
Loves the
that.
clock.
You see, I found a rather nice little opportunity to give Benetti Tech a little bit of a bloody nose, shall we say, and also gain some myself. I'll admit I have rather selfish motives with this one. Now, there has been an advertisement campaign lately in the Benetti Tech Urban Redevelopment Fund offices, administrative offices in Shinjuku. They have installed a atomic clock, a clock capable of telling time to the millionths of a second. This is one of the most perfect timepieces ever created. Oh, and you know how they justified this expenditure. They said that to remind the bureaucrats that time is ticking to save the urban poor of Neo-Tokyo. How pathetic. How disgraceful. You deserve such a magnificent timepiece, and I want you to acquire it for me. Now, this job shouldn't be too difficult. The administrative offices aren't, how shall we say, particularly well guarded. Security isn't particularly tight. It's like the head offices of Bernetti Tech or anything. This is sort of just a charitable concern, even though it's basically just a criminal enterprise. But in any event, I need you to go to those offices and steal that timepiece. You think you can do this for me?
How big?
How big? He kind of sign with his hand. It's about a basketball.
What's
You see,
basketball?
I don't.
Does he say basketball or?
Oh, I'm saying he's
Oh,
holding
you are
hands.
sorry. Yeah. Okay,
Sorry, my voice is quite posh and similar.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. And yeah, basically, I don't need you to get the display. Oh no! I'll replace that. Just the device itself. Pull it out from behind the display and bring it back to me.
I must ask, how is stealing a time device righting wrongs?
Jim nods.
He laughs very, very loudly. Righting wrongs. My dear boy, it's not necessarily so much righting a wrong, it's getting something I want from someone who doesn't deserve it. And you are going to help me.
What makes you think you deserve it?
Because, dear boy, everything is relative. And relative to Benetti Tech, I am a lot more noble. Am I selfish? Am I self-motivated? Yes, of course I am. I freely admit that. Arguably, I'm as much of a gangster as they are. However, noble gangster. There are certain lows I refuse to stoop to. I will appeal to men's vices, gambling, women, that sort of thing. Perhaps, maybe a protection now and again. Certainly, people around here do need the protection. However, I do a lot of good work for the community around here. When somebody needs help, they know to see me. I take care of people. If somebody gets too far in over their heads with their gambling debts, I'm not going to take over their house or take their cyberware or anything else. I'm not like those animals at Venetti. I care about the community here. So you can say what you like about me, but I am certainly the lesser of two evils.
So,
Frankly, I wouldn't consider myself evil in this world.
I look to Barry. Not Barry, Jim even, sorry.
I don't know, sir. Stealing. Why? I just can't understand why. Is it the actual technology that you're after behind the device itself, or is it a symbol that you're trying to that you're after?
Both, to be honest. I would certainly like very much to mount it on my wall alongside all these other beautiful clocks, as a sort of a sign of one small victory with a Bonetti tech. A sign that I'm the true urban redevelopment fund here in Neo Tokyo. I'm the one who's trying to help the people. And if I can glean anything from the technology behind the clock, yes, I'll use it to help myself. But I'll do what I can to help the people around here as well, which is certainly better than those cybernetic slave drivers would.
Okay, I can do, but would you like for me to make new clock for them?
You mean replace it so they might not necessarily know it's gone at first?
Kinda.
That's not a bad idea. Well, if you think replacing it might buy you some time, certainly go ahead. But
I look to look to cover. I look to humiliate.
interesting. So you want to replace it with something that'll humiliate them. I like the way you think.
Do you have potato?
I think I can arrange that.
Good. I fix.
So you said you are led by selfish motives. Why should we be involved in this?
Because you have your motives and you need me just as much as I need you.
Oh, good point. How much we get paid?
Well, how does 500 credits each sound?
That sounds good. I cannot say no.
I'll agree as long as you agree to leave the local dojo. Sorry, not the local dojo. As long as you agree to leave the Kimono dojo alone as well.
Kimono dojo? Where's that?
Kimono.
He kind of looks a bit confused.
He's
He taps on his computer quickly. Oh, you mean on the outskirts of Western Tokyo? I have no interest in that place.
Then I am fine with this.
Very well. Now, Huan Gui, you consider yourself something of a humanitarian. You did lots of charitable work back where you were from.
Yes.
I see you looking at me harshly. I see you judging me. And I'd like you to remember where you are. This isn't some martial arts monastery. This is Neo Tokyo. If you want to help people, you have to play dirty here. That's just how it is. And you have to look out for yourself, because if you don't, someone will stab you in the back the moment you turn your attention elsewhere. Do you understand that?
I understand that that you have become the scum that you apparently defend these people from.
Well, I
Fine.
certainly...
Stop.
Yep, go on.
We need money. Stop. Stop argue. Money.
So, I'm scum. But let me ask you, if someone got rid of me, what would happen then? Go on, tell me. What would happen then?
My character says nothing because he's been told to not argue.
The Netty Tech would completely take over the Bradbury ward. As would the Triads, they split it up between them and turn everyone here into cybernetic slaves. And the only thing standing between them taking over the Bradbury ward completely. And you presume to judge me. And you said the most important resource was wisdom. It just goes to show how naive you are. We're going to have to smoke a bit if you to survive here in Neo Tokyo. Let alone do anything good. It's all right. You can speak. Don't be intimidated by me. I appreciate you speaking your mind. To be honest, I'm so sick of people who are dishonest at me. I'm certainly sick of Bonetti's dishonesty.
I just feel as if everybody was to stand together, then this sort of thing would not occur. I understand not everybody's strong enough, so those who are, which it seems you may be, should do so, but they should not go in by the means of the corrupted.
Jim looks up after he looks like a long, ponderous think. Well, the way I see it, it's the people. People standing up to a corporation. Every revolution has to start somewhere, doesn't it? Maybe Barry is the start of this revolution. Maybe he's the the anti-hero, if you will. The hero that doesn't want to be. Yes, we can look at it that way. We're doing good. We're helping the people stand up to a corporation that's trying to take over their lives. I know what that's like.
Be here in Neo Tokyo if I didn't care somewhat about the people here.
Jim nods.
I've always had a certain admiration for the Japanese and for the other immigrants who've come to live in Neo Tokyo. So please, don't get me wrong. But on the other hand, just because I'm merciful, don't underestimate me either. And know that if you try to betray me, you will suffer greatly. Do you understand?
I understand.
Now,
anyway, you don't have to like me to work for me, Huan Gui. You can make up your mind on me later, after you've done the job. He looks back to Gentleman Jim.
Now, Barry, good chap. Now we've established an accord. I wonder if you can do me just a small favour as a token of our new friendship, let's say. I, as you may be aware, may be under surveillance. Is there any way you can help me merge into the crowd a little bit more? Might be good for both of us if I don't get spotted here. Good for you, good for me. And you know, I've got some reach myself. A man like you could do with a friend like me, as a man like me could do with a friend like you.
Oh, my dear Gentleman Jim. I'm afraid you still have to prove to me that you're a friend worth having. And not just some tough expat who's got himself in a bit of trouble.
Oh, but sir, I can give
you didn't do the things you're accused of.
Sir, I can give you my word as a gentleman, but moreover, from a business angle, it wouldn't be good business to have me getting spotted. I'm not asking for much, my good sir. Just make sure my phone here can't be tracked, and can get rid of these damn adverts from these damn contact lenses. I'm sick of them.
He chuckles lightly. As a courtesy to someone who, a potential prospective associate, I'll get Desmond to take care of that. And furthermore, he reaches into his desk. I've taken the liberty of giving you these rail cards. He hands you each a card. These will allow you to traverse the city. For you, Jim, I've prepared a false identity for the card, so you don't need to worry about that. So you won't need to worry about getting tracked, and obviously, as well, you won't have to worry about needing money for taxis to taxi you around everywhere.
Good man.
And yes, I have been watching you since you got off the boat. And no, don't ask me how.
How?
He just sort of slaps his forehead.
And Jim shakes his head.
They have camera. They have camera everywhere. You not see them?
I look around. Juan looks around. Can I see if I can see cameras?
Not here. Well, there's probably camera here too. But you not remember off a boat there were camera. They just camera everywhere.
Oh.
Barry, my
Yes.
man, could you show us? Could you upload to my phone the location of this clock? Any information you have, just to make the business a little bit easier.
He taps on his computer a few times, and you find that your phone is being accessed pretty much whether you like it or not. Yes, it downloads to you a file containing the address and some blueprints of the Tech Urban Redevelopment Fund offices.
Jolly good.
There you go. That should get you started. Is there anything else you need to know? Oh, wait, I almost forgot. Yes. Rufus, he did mention you were in a spot above a gym, and, well, I've been watching the news. I'm quite aware of it. But don't worry, Jim. I'm not the kind of man who doesn't hear both sides of the story before making his mind up. He looks pointedly at Huan Gui at this point, looking back to Jim.
One guy looks behind him to see who he's pointing at.
So I'm going to assume you're innocent until proven guilty. And if you do this job, I'll start looking deeper into it for you. I'll start sticking my neck out a bit more to try and find out just what's behind this possible attack on you.
Tell you what, my good sir,
And
you
also-
may as well start now. Have a look at this. Now, you see this code for this on this email here. Well, it seems to be
Yes,
towards.
I've already got it.
Oh,
I've already got it. I had the liberty of downloading it from your phone just then. Oh, I
well,
hope you don't mind.
that's not quite polite, but I suppose we'll let this slide in the interest of good business. Now, anyway, since you've got it there already, have a look. You may be held to acquire some funding for this revolution. As you see, there's some bank details there. Now, while we're on this this quest for good, I'd really appreciate it if you could access that to fund the operation itself, and maybe find any information in regards to who accessed the account. May as well start
Firstly-
now. It's good business, sir.
Firstly, don't dress things up as a revolution for good. It's so insincere.
Sir, I am
what
never
do-
insincere.
What we are doing here is business, and it just so happens it's relatively effortlessness. With externalities not benefiting those who, let's say, are unworthy. As for your Swiss bank account, yes, I'll look into that. As I say, see this job as a little starter. Get your feet wet. If you do it right, if you get it done, I might see about sending you on further, more lucrative jobs. And yes, Huan Gui, jobs that will help people from this community, as well as help me.
I intend this money to help people of the community regardless.
You can use it to help whatever you want. But bear in mind that I'm not going to ask you to do anything. I'm not going to ask you to do anything outright devious. Maybe a few things you might consider shady.
Like stealing.
Like liberating a timepiece from, well, a bunch of evil bastards, to put it bluntly.
Stealing.
Anyway. He scoffs at you. If you consider that stealing, then, well, maybe you will die on this job. And it'll be seen that you're not really smart enough to Neo Tokyo. Or maybe not. Maybe this job will teach you a few things about what it means to survive outside of a little dojo where people pull their punches.
I
Says with a
scowl.
snort.
Juan scowls quite evilly and angrily.
Jim, using his political
Your
awareness to
sparring partners
sense...
might have pulled their punches, but I won't, and Bonetti Tech won't either. Just remember that.
Guy, let's go.
Yes, Jim
We
uses
need
political
to-
senses, decides a decided change in
Our
atmosphere in the
virus
room,
database has been updated.
and decides to say, yes, okay, gentlemen, Tempest Fugit gives Barry a wink. Let us make haste.
Barry, understanding what he said precisely, he nods.
Alright.
Yes, gentlemen. Off to business. If there's anything else, ask me. If not, I expect to see that clock gift wrap for me next time I see you.
Gift wrap. Okay, got.
He goes back to tending his grandfather clock, winding it carefully, putting on his monocle to examine it. Right, off
Dong
with you
Hyun
then.
swiftly starts moving, as swiftly as he can, starts moving out of the room.
Followed by Jim.
And Juan.
All right. So, do you go and see Desmond about getting yourself sorted?
Yes, please.
The first thing I say to Dong when we leave the room is potato.
Yeah, we need potato.
Desmond looks at you after you exit the room. He's been waiting outside. He walks over to a room. It looks like a kitchen. He sees a bowl, finds a potato, picks it up, tosses it a few times. Words do.
How big is it?
It's
Potato size.
Potato size.
it's a big potato.
That good.
He just looks at you, Lee, and hands you the potato.
Ah, Desmond, my man.
You lads,
I give a cheesy thumbs up.
anything else you lads need me to do for you?
Oh, yes, Desmond, my man. Turn these damn adverts off of these damn contacts. They're driving me insane.
Oh yeah, simple enough. Just a simple ad block Really? Here, I'll upload it for you. He starts tapping on his smartphone, and soon the advertisements in your contacts disappear. Also, you want to do some fiddling with your phone, right?
Yes, make sure that this can't be tracked, if you will be so kind.
All right. He goes to it, taps it a few times. There. The only thing that goes through this phone will be bounced through about 100 different proxies. Should keep you mostly safe for now.
I also love how no one's pointed out his fucking bow yet.
Well, that sounds spiffing. Thank you very much, sir.
Oh, well, I assume he's put on his regular clothes. He hasn't just been walking around in his, yukata all day.
I was after
Right.
a robe, but oh well.
Do you want... So, wait, you put on a kimono and you left the dojo. You stole a kimono.
No!
No, he gave him a
No.
watch for it.
Yeah, I totally gave him a watch. It's an expensive watch, that was worth like 50 credits, mate.
Oh, God. Right, okay.
I'm not wearing it now, though.
Okay, right.
because
I'm
I thought it was
sorry,
a robe,
assumed
not a
you got
kimono.
dressed- I assume you got dressed in your own clothes.
Never assume, always
Yeah.
question.
What I was actually
Rule one
after,
of
Brick, is
GMing.
like just a
Bloody
set of
hell.
robes. I'm not in the kimono now. If it's a kimono, if it was a set of dojo robes, it's just average,
Robes. Yeah.
what students would wear. That's what I'm wearing. That's what I was after, not a kimono, mate.
You mean a gi?
I don't know.
Whatever, yeah, that thing.
No, students
Well, that, I
doing
mean,
business.
it's the closest thing to what you'd assume monk robes are. He's looking for monk robes, not,
Whatever the
garment
standard
robes.
uniform of the students were that might have been in the storage area.
Well, the students would have their kendo practice uniforms, and neither of which are really streetwear or kind of thing you want to wear. I mean, you'd find some kimonos and yukatas in the supply room, but I mean, again, I'm still baffled as to why you're not just wearing your own clothes.
Oh, I don't want to look like Gentleman Jim. I want to look at least like
Okay,
Gentleman Jim as possible.
All right,
But-
so yeah,
but-
you're walking around in a stolen kimono. Okay, cool.
No, if it's a kimono, I'll have got to change into my own clothes. If I couldn't find any sort of random sort of commoner clothes that were knocking about that fit me, I'll put my own clothes on.
All right, okay, you're in your own clothes. Right. It's
Wicked.
just, yeah, next time be a bit more specific about these kind of things.
Well, he did say robes when you said, and then you said kimono,
Yeah,
and then he said no robes.
Whatever, screw it. He's naked.
Yeah,
Crack
anyway.
on.
There aren't any fucking robes. There's kimonos.
He's naked.
That's
just-
it. Okay.
All right.
Anyway,
Back to the story.
boring gear stuff aside, you head on out into the street. I imagine, unless you anything else.
Before we continue any further, Dalrius, how are you for time, man?
I can probably get another 10-15 minutes in at most.
Okay.
All right, you want to sort of
Because I thought that would have been a nice place to sort of just cut it off, because we'd been given what we need to do. We've seen Neo Tokyo, but if he's got more time, that's fine. We can continue, sort of thing. I was just thinking there was a convenient place to cut off as it approached 20 past 10, which he said was his stretch time.
Okay. Would you like to call it there then, or would you like to go for like 10-15 minutes longer?
Don't know if we call it there. It does seem quite a nice cut-off point. Little cliffhanger. We've met the guy. We now know what we're needing to do. And we could
All right.
possibly, ladies and gentlemen out there listening as well, we could possibly pick this up Saturday, as I don't think Halo's game is running.
All right then.
Hmm.
All right, we'll consider that then. For now, you all another 2 experience.
I think that was a 3 points worthy game, but
What? What
And
did
gentlemen,
you achieve?
we shall end the stream there. Everyone that watched, thank you for watching. We're going to be on YouTube, which is Brick will hopefully remember the address and give it out round about now.
Yeah, I will. It's a customized URL as well, so it's
I knew you remember. You were dead proud of it. I knew you'd remember it. Go on.
YouTube-user-Bodyers Gaming.
Do I get to keep my Benny in the next game? My spare one?
No, you don't.
Oh man! I didn't even get a roll that game.
Oh, dude, look, you got it. You feel proud that you earned it, man.
All right. So we'll end it there. Say good night, everybody.
Toodaloo.
Good
Good night, everybody.